Hello, here's the news at this hour from TSTV. I am Mobola Badekale. Here are some major headlines. Oyo government tests 3,433 samples in 3 months for COVID-19. Lagos records 5 COVID-19 related deaths. Singapore approves antiviral drug for COVID-19 patients. Neymar faces criminal complaint for homophobia. And now, the news in details. Oyo State government has tested 3,433 samples for novel coronavirus COVID-19 in the last 3 months as part of effort to contain its spread. Dr. Korede Ikone, a member of the Infection Prevention and Control Committee Oyo State Emergency Operations Center, gave the figure to newsmen at a seminar held on Monday in Ibadan. The news agency of Nigeria reports that the one-day program was aimed at orientating media professionals on 2020 measles awareness creation and COVID-19 response in Oyo State. Ikone noted that the state recorded its index case on March 26, said that the government had activated community testing center across the state. She then urged the state residents to adhere strictly to all preventive measures given by health professionals towards curtailing the spread of the virus. Nigerians have been strongly admonished to avoid the consumption of wild animals popularly referred to as bushmeat in these days of rampaging novel coronavirus. This admonition was given by Professor Olajumoke Morenikeji of Department of Zoology, University of Ibadan on Tuesday. Professor Morenikeji, who spoke while featuring on a broadcast live in Ibadan, also seized the opportunity to admonish those selling bushmeat to diversify into raising of rabbit, grass cutter, and other animals so as to keep their businesses. She then added that the government at all levels can also help them. According to her, in as much as essential use of these animals cannot be ruled out, it is imperative to guard against over-exploitation, particularly in the face of the various diseases emanating from them lately. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) on Tuesday announced 5 COVID-19 related deaths for Lagos State, increasing the state's COVID-19 death toll to 72. The NCDC made the disclosure in its COVID-19 situation report for June 8th. According to NCDC, 7 COVID-19 related deaths were recorded in the last 24 hours in 3 states, with Lagos having 5, while Kano and Katsina recording 1 death each. The center disclosed that the Lagos also recorded 128 new COVID-19 infections, increasing its total number of confirmed cases to 5,895. The state, however, did not record new recoveries on the reported day. Thus, the number of discharged patients recorded for the state still remains 944. 25 doctors, nurses, and other non-workers at the National Orthopedic Hospital in Nugu have been asked to go into isolation for 14 days after a nurse tested positive for coronavirus. A doctor working at the hospital told newsmen on condition of anonymity that a staff nurse had tested positive to COVID-19 some days back. The state chairman, Nigerian Medical Association, Dr. Ike Okwesili, warned that more hospitals in the state could be affected. And now moving on to the foreign scene, the World Bank has warned that global economic growth could rebound next year, but the number of people living in extreme poverty is expected to remain unchanged after a huge surge this year due to the corona pandemic. The bank said 3 countries, India with 24%, Nigeria with 12%, and DR Congo with 7%, with the highest shares of the world's extremely poor, are not projected to grow faster than their population, meaning that extreme poverty will remain at the elevated 2020 levels through 2021. The projection came after the Washington-based development lenders said Monday the pandemic could drive between 70 and 100 million people into extreme poverty in 2020 as the global economic faces its worst recession in 80 years. At least 3 persons died during a protest by hundreds of demonstrators in the DR Congo capital against the corona lockdown closure of the city's main market, officials and witnesses said. Police said they fired warning shots to disperse the protesters who gathered at the site on Tuesday to demand the reopening of the Kinshasa market. Several of the demonstrators said at least 1 person was killed by gunfire. A spokesman for Kinshasa provincial government said 2 people were electrocuted while another was crushed to death by the fleeing crowd after trouble by people pretending to be trade unionists from the market. Singapore has approved the use of antiviral drug remdesivir to treat seriously ill coronavirus patients, authorities said Wednesday, becoming the latest country to do so. The U.S. authorized the emergency use of remdesivir in hospitals at the start of May, followed by Japan and South Korea, while Europe has been considering following suit. It has been granted unconditional approval in Singapore for treatment of some adult virus patients, such as those who require intensive breathing support, the country's health products regulator said. And finally, in the world of sport, a Brazilian gay rights activist has filed a criminal complaint against Neymar for homophobia after the football superstar called his mother's boyfriend an anti-gay slur in comments leaked to the media. The Sao Paulo prosecutor's office confirmed the news as it revealed that it received the complaint, which it must now examine to decide whether to open a case against the Paris Saint-Germain and Brazil star. Neymar's communications team has since declined to comment on the complaint. The case was brought by activist Agrippino, who said on Instagram he planned to press charges against Neymar and his friends for criminal homophobia, hate speech and death threats over comments made in private conversation on a gaming site. In the audio recording, Neymar, 28, can be heard using slur against his mother's new boyfriend, Thiago Ramos, as he and his friends discussed a supposed fight between the couple. 20-time Grand Slam singles champion Roger Federer said Wednesday he will be sidelined until 2021 after undergoing second knee operation in a matter of months. The 38-year-old Swiss said he underwent follow-up arthroscopic surgery a few weeks after undergoing a similar keyhole procedure in February. Federer, whose last Grand Slam win was the 2018 Australian Open, said he experienced a setback during his initial rehabilitation. And with that, we've come to the end of the news. Here's a brief recap of the headlines. Your government tests 3,433 samples in 3 months. Lagos records 5 COVID-19 related deaths. Singapore approved antiviral drug for COVID-19 patients. And finally, you heard Neymar faces criminal complaint for homophobia. As the world eases out of lockdown, kindly ensure to take all advice and precautions given by health workers. I am Mobola Badekale. Good day and thank you for watching.